to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
And I'm Kayfabe Avenue, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And I'm E.A.
It's Kayfabe Avenue. Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks. I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue. And today we're bringing you the Raw wrap-up. So we're about 24 hours removed. Got a whole day to think about what was going on last night. And this is the show right after Fastlane. So a lot of developments on that front. Check out the prediction show we dropped as well as the review. You can compare. So check that out. All podcast streaming sites as well as YouTube at Kayfabe Avenue. So this is the show after we have 3 weeks until WrestleMania. So we're almost there. The granddaddy of them all. The reason we're even possibly even covering wrestling right now. So starts off strong. Raw starts off really strong. We have Bobby Lashley making his way to the ring.
My man.
Awesome new entrance. And
it was great. It was a really good entrance by Bobby Lashley. It's good to see that it's new music and new entrance. You know, he actually looks dominating. If only they could have done this when he first came back. You know, I'm pretty sure.
The funny thing is, Bobby Lashley made a statement. He's like, I'm actually glad it took so long to win the title. Like, I guess it means more that he had to grind and hustle to actually get there. So, not only that, like you said, he's being booked in a good way, strong, dominant for the real first time, all around dominance. So, you know, good things. He's facing Sheamus in this opener, and you know, Sheamus is coming off of that loss on Fastlane to Drew McIntyre. So, not really liking the fact that Sheamus has been producing like amazing matches with these guys, and he's not even in the mix. And it's what 3 weeks to Mania, we said, and he looks like he's just being used to, you know, uplift Lashley and uplift Drew McIntyre for their storyline. So I think, you know, before WrestleMania is here, I think at some point Sheamus needs to be added to this match because he's, you know, even though he's been in a losing situation against Lashley and Sheamus, I mean against Lashley and Drew McIntyre, Sheamus has been producing, bro, and who knows if he was to be put in it, he'd be the underdog I'd root for, win the title off of, instead of both of them.
No, I'd rather go for Lashley.
Yeah, I'd rather Lashley retain, but you know,
because Lashley,
if they made it a triple threat,
even if they made it a triple threat, I still go with Lashley because it's like you can't make Lashley a transitional champion. Because if you do, it's gonna take away all the credibility of his first title win, and
not really because look at Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre won the title. It wasn't really a good run. He lost it to Randy Orton.
That was a couple of months later.
Won it right back off Randy, and that reign was way better. And then he lost it again, like half of the time he held the last run. So, you know, to chase it again for this WrestleMania. So I don't know. I think if they just book it the right way, I don't think he'll be hurt. Just keep him in that picture. But I do want him to continue.
Drew held the belt until November, so that he had like a good 6 months with the title.
Yeah, but you don't think that Vince is like last year we had no WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre didn't get his WrestleMania moment. I think they just gonna give it to Drew for the sake of redeeming Drew's last WrestleMania.
I don't think that'll be a good idea because, you know, like they said, the show goes on.
I'm not saying it is a good idea. Just
it's not a good idea.
That's what Vince
right now. Right now is Lashley's time. He needs to be booked as a strong champion, and letting him lose the title in like a couple of weeks. You know, just holding his reign is not going to look good.
It'll be like a month and a half. or
You think
maybe
about it like this: How
yeah,
long did
like
Kofi? How long
month
did
and a half.
Kofi have? How long did Kofi have the title?
I think he had it for. He definitely went from Mania past SummerSlam. I would say he had it for about 6 months.
So you're trying to tell me that Bobby Lashley can't hold the title for a couple of weeks, but yet Kofi Kingston could last 6 months with it.
Yeah, but look at what we're comparing to. Does anybody really remember anything memorable about Kofi's run besides him winning?
His feud with Daniel Bryan,
I barely
but
remember.
that's about it. But that's about it. But the thing is, it still leaves the fact that like like I said, there's always tiers to the wrestling system, and Bobby Lashley is a tier over Kofi Kingston. No matter how you stack up against any wrestling list, Bobby Lashley is going to be over Kofi Kingston no matter what.
No, of course. But I'm just saying it's just the way they book it. Like any way it could go. Because honestly, I see Drew. I don't want it to happen. I want Lashley to continue his reign, but I definitely see Drew winning his belt back at Mania
That'd be a
because
mistake.
technically Bobby won it on some fuck shit.
So
Technically,
what? He won it. There's a lot of people who won their first title on some fuck shit. That doesn't mean that the former champion deserves it. And whatever happened to champions not automatically getting a rematch.
I mean, I think they kind of gone away with the ruling on that as far as they don't get a rematch or they do or whatever the case may be. They pick and choose like Tony Khan.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as the actual matchup, this match was fucking really great. Kind of, like Drew versus Sheamus, hard hitting, really strong battle of like the behemoths. Raw's finally in a position where it seems like they're building on and have a great heavyweight division for once. It's not scattered everywhere or one big dominant dude and everybody else is just um, you know, getting run through. They actually have some contenders now. Shane, like I said,
This
even
I
in
feel
defeat, Sheamus looks good in these matches. I
I
think he
feel like
deserves
they should
more.
have even put this on Raw. Like yo, they should have just left this for like what? What's the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania? No Way Out?
I have no
Was it No Way
idea.
Out? So
Because
whatever paper.
actually, I think it was Money in the Bank. They fucked up the
Well, whatever.
scheduling last year.
Well, whatever next pay per view is, that's when Bobby Lashley should face Sheamus right now, because this shouldn't have been a Raw matchup because it looked great and everything. Instead, what they should have is have Sheamus and Bobby Lashley just beat up a whole bunch of jobbers and shit. Beat up people from NXT. Like, come on, let's do
Yeah,
it. Call
yeah.
James
I agree.
Ellsworth and call
Oh
James
God,
Ellsworth and
no.
have him get powerbombed a trillion times by Bobby Lashley. Come on, just do it.
We could
Just do
keep
it.
James Ellsworth out of TV. But of course, this match was used to make Bobby Lashley look strong and dominant going into WrestleMania, and we had a little bit of situation going on at ringside with MVP trying to pretty much hold back the members of the Hurt Business from interfering in the match, and pretty much after the match when Bobby Lashley pulls off the win, he pretty much um gets pressed by Drew McIntyre because the Hurt Business starts beating down Sheamus at ringside. So he makes the save, kind of destroys the other guys in the Hurt Business. Then
And
gets to the
basically,
ring
and
and
then
he
basically punked out Shelton.
Punk Shelton out. Punked what's his name,
Cedric.
Cedric Alexander out, and then basically was like Lashley was furious, and he's daring him like, "I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me right now," with his hands behind his back. MVP, jumps in between them, is pretty much saying, this is business. Don't do it. Wait for WrestleMania. Don't do it. So Lashley ends up, walking away, pissed off, calms down a little bit, walks off. But this leads to a backstage segment where pretty much he's pressing Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. And this is what I was scared of. This is kind of what I was scared of with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander losing the Raw Tag Team Championships last week on Raw. Lashley being the champion. It's like I was scared that they would feel like, okay, it's too much black dominance. We can't have these guys as a team. Let's split them up for no reason. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Bobby Lashley pissed off at Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, not because they got punked out, not because they were trying to support, because they were out there, period. He's straight up said, I don't need you guys. I'm the champion, especially after you guys lost the Raw Tag Team titles. Like, I'm the champion. I don't need you guys. So it's like, you just shitted on the Hurt Business after building them up and finally getting them to the elite status. You have the WWE champion in your stable. You had the Raw Tag Team Championships. Every man who was active wrestling had a championship. Like, why would you do a 180 in 2 weeks?
It doesn't make any sense. It's shitty booking.
It's
shitty booking because now they're seeing the split up of their Hurt Business, and it's like, wow, the first black faction that's asked, huh?
Outside of New Day.
First of all, you didn't let me finish. The first black faction that you could actually take 1,000% seriously. They're marketable to all age groups and everything. And what do? You splinter them.
Well, I could never take Cedric Alexander serious.
Her business, maybe you couldn't, but there's a lot of people who would, and
as far as in-ring,
as a tag team championship,
as in the tag team championship, yeah. But the gimmick they had him doing, where he was showing out and trying to look better than the rest of that was stupid, and I couldn't get over it. It was silly to me.
Like if it was up to me, like I would even, tried to put, who like expand the Hurt Business. Like, hey,
Rick Cockney is backstage doing nothing.
We dominate on Raw. Have MVP start recruiting on SmackDown. NXT. Have them go across the pond to NXT UK. Why not?
Cool. That WWE's not cool enough to do some shit like that.
I mean, they could try. They could always try. And, they could fail, but, at least they tried. And it's like, they're not trying to take these steps that, that they could be taking. Like what if MVP goes to SmackDown, recruits Apollo Crews?
I mean, and that's him. That would kind of be counterproductive on the storyline they just came out of. Apollo Crews went to SmackDown because
all right, I know. And then what happened is he found out about himself. He realized that the Hurt Business is right, decided to be more like his grandfather, reaches out to MVP, listen.
It works, but I don't think WWE's cool enough to do that.
I'm cool enough to do that, though.
But yeah, it looks like the Hurt Business is on shaky ground. I really hope they're not trying to split them up, because then what the fuck was the point of getting behind them this whole time?
That makes no sense.
Because it's not like they really helped Bobby.
Bobby really did
shit on his own.
But for that, they could have just left the Street Profits on Raw, and just leave the Street Profits on Raw and shit or something.
And throw Shelton and Cedric on SmackDown.
Yeah, and have them face Big E and shit like that. And eventually Bobby Lashley's like, "Oh, you guys suck. Leave the Hurt Business. That's it." And you know what? That wouldn't have taken anything from the Street Profits, because they're their own tag team. And then you have Bobby Lashley.
Then the thing is, the Hurt Business isn't even in a position to get the Raw Tag Team titles back. Like AJ Styles and almost just jumped the whole fucking line and got a WrestleMania Tag Team title shot. We haven't even got the rematch yet from when they lost the tag team. Like it's stupid. And these guys have been earning the past 6 months plus been earning their spot, and they don't even have a match at WrestleMania. This shit is fucking ridiculous. Let's move on from that before I blow a
Tell
gas.
them, tell them to go back to New Japan. Both of them.
Yo, as far as the matchup goes, though, Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus, I'll give it an 8.
Yo, this was a 10, man. Like, how can you not say that this match was a masterpiece? It's like, I'm trying to say, yo, this should have been on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, sure.
Like, even though Sheamus was still hurt from last night,
I only
and
give it
everything,
I'll give it an 8.
it was good.
Because of the simple fact that Sheamus just keeps taking these L's. The matchup was great,
This is
but there's no storyline reason for Sheamus. There's nothing happening for him, and it's like we don't need to step on people like Sheamus to make the almighty WWE champion look any better at this point.
In fact, what he should
They
be
should
doing
hold
is
Sheamus for the next feud, Lashley versus Sheamus.
what they should do is have him go after the Intercontinental Champion, since that's the only belt that he hasn't had.
Who? Sheamus?
Sheamus.
You have to jump to SmackDown.
So what?
He just came off SmackDown.
At least he has something to do. He has to get that belt.
For that, he goes against Riddle.
For what? He already had the U.S. title.
Because he's on Raw. Why lose him? I was just saying, like, Raw's finally building a great heavyweight division. Why would I want Sheamus, who's been a great part of that, to leave again and not have accomplished anything?
Because his career's, he only has like what 3-4 years left in his career. He needs to have an Intercontinental title run, you know, just so he can say that he done it all and then just retire. That's it. And then he goes into the sunset. Or the moon.
I
or
think
the
if
moonlight,
anything, he needs to stay his ass on Raw. He needs to have this feud down the line with Lashley and be the person to take it from Lashley and get a legitimate WWE title run where people are 100% behind him.
I mean, he had multiple title runs already.
Like, he has, but name one title run where you actually appreciated Sheamus as champion.
Most of them, he was pretty good. Champion. He was pretty good.
He was good.
Always good as a heel, as a heel champion.
Go back to his championship reigns. They were overshadowed by Cena. They were overshadowed by everybody else.
All right. Even if they're overshadowed, like, you know, his work and stuff like that. If you just take the storyline by himself, it was great. Like, you know, his shit with Daniel Bryan. Even though I was mad at the time because on the fact that he won Daniel Bryan afterwards, that feud was awesome. You know, it's like
to me,
even
Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, it was cool.
Even when he came back,
his best work has been as a tag team in the bar. That's been his best work.
Even when he came back with his beard all braided and everything, looking like a pirate and everything, yo, he was still good. Like, he was still like you know, getting his thing and everything.
Yeah,
so
but I'm talking about his heavyweight championship reigns.
Yeah,
there was not one heavyweight championship reign that he was dominant and respected as the top guy. Not one.
Maybe not into the eyes of fans, but it's like, yo, he was. If you just take those storylines by themselves, it was pretty good. It's just because people wanted to, you know, focus on Cena and stuff like that. You know, maybe if you stop focusing on Cena all the time, you start noticing every other thing.
Oh, so you know, I couldn't stand Cena. This coming from somebody who has been a day one Sheamus. I never hated Sheamus.
But if you hate something, you always want them to get off your focus, and if it's there, your focus is gonna be on it. And it's like, yo, instead of having
me being a fan of Sheamus,
you should have just ignored it. And just focused on Sheamus, because Sheamus actually did great.
But how do you want me to ignore something? Right? You're asking me to ignore what's overshadowing Sheamus, right? So then I'm gonna have to not watch Monday Night. Back then, I would have had to not watch Monday Night Raw and just catch clips of Sheamus to avoid everything that overshadows his run.
What
I'm asking for is give Sheamus his WWE Championship run a few months down the line, where he's been having his crazy brawl feuds with Drew, Bobby, solidify himself again. because they lowered his standings, putting him in tag teams for so many years.
I
He's
don't I
just
don't think that
now
I don't
getting
think
that
that
momentum,
I
getting
don't
that
think I
momentum
don't
back.
I don't think they lowered his thing doing tag teams because the Bar was a super group. It always was marketed as a super group. Two singer wrestlers coming in. To me, that was basically, like having the power trip there. But not having legends, but having normal wrestlers, come together and such. Like that's a group that, if I was
I
like
don't mean as
if I was
diminish
if
his
I was
value. I don't mean diminish his value, but they lowered him down the card. That's no debate in that. They lowered him down the card. The man hasn't touched main events. Main event
I mean,
last
I
year,
guess.
championship match. He has not touched that in years. Now is the time that he's getting back up to that. Because
Well, he hasn't had a world title
even
run in years
before the
either.
bar, he was already brought down from the main event. He was in United States title pictures. So he's been away from the
Yeah,
heavyweight
but he also
championship
yeah,
possibly just as long as Miz.
but he also was getting Money in the Bank contracts, Royal Rumble wins and such. So it's like, he's getting his opportunities. So it's
No,
not like you
you're
can't
right,
say
but
they
we
were
got to look at
burying
the
him.
bro. What you're talking about is like 2012, 13.
Yeah, and
We're in
I've been noticing the
2021.
whole time. All right, and how long has he been with doing his other things? Sometimes he gets
So
injured.
you don't think in 2021 Sheamus doesn't deserve a WWE championship?
Maybe a Universal title run, but
But he's
not
on
WWE.
Raw. He just
Put him
spent
on SmackDown.
bro. He
Send this
just
dude to
spent,
SmackDown.
but he just spent
You can
2 to 3
bring Keith
years
Lee
on
back.
SmackDown.
And what? They just changed the titles around. Now the Universal title is on SmackDown for some reason, and so is the Intercontinental title. Two of the titles that he never had.
All right.
Why?
So scratch what title it is. You don't think Sheamus in 2021 deserves a heavyweight championship?
Yes, I do.
All right.
But I want specific titles because I feel that it would make his career even better if
The
he
only
won all the
title you're saying
titles.
he needs is an Intercontinental Championship.
And you're right. And I just remembered he also needs the Universal.
I don't know. That's just for the sake of patent stats. I don't want.
Yeah,
But that's the
right.
problem. But that's the problem with the content.
But if you look at Sheamus, he's done everything. He has a storied career. If right now he retires, he's already Hall of Fame.
Okay, but listen to what you're saying. This guy's building momentum on Raw, and you rather them stop that momentum to throw him on SmackDown.
Yes.
How many times, year in, year out, we finally get onto a good storyline with somebody, or finally get to a point we like the people or want to see them do good, they get switch shows and then they do nothing. They got to reset their storylines on the show. Why reset your stories when you're building momentum on Raw, regardless how you feel about it? Universal Championship match.
Because the thing is, they're gonna do a draft anyway after WrestleMania anyway. So what's the point?
That's not
They're gonna bring
necessarily
up.
true.
They always do like
The
some kind
last
of
draft
draft a
was
little
in
bit more.
the last draft was in August.
Yeah, I mean, because the
September.
pandemic. But that was because of the pandemic. If the pandemic never happened, it would have been after WrestleMania.
Yeah, but we can't
It's like this is
put all our
WrestleMania.
chips in
All the
that basket because
storyline.
it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, but the thing is, all the storylines supposed to end at WrestleMania. Everybody's supposed to get brand new storylines afterwards because that's like the season finale of WWE. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like you're gonna have new storylines anyway. At least have Sheamus pad the stats because for one, I would love to see him face Roman Reigns. I would love to see him, do the promo game against Roman Reigns and hit the tribal chief versus, the street brawler and everything. I think that would be something that you could have stock in and somebody you can stick your teeth into. And even if not that, even if you put him in the Intercontinental title run, against Big E and Apollo Crews. You're trying to tell me you don't think Big E or Apollo Crews can help Sheamus get these matches to go over? Because Big E's pretty good.
You know why I say
Apollo
yeah?
Crews is good.
You know why I say yeah though? Because we seen this 3 months ago. Big E
Yeah,
versus Shane. We seen it. Why do you want
but
to repeat just for the
because
sake
I
of the
want
stat?
no, it's not even for the stake of the stat. It's just like, yo, just let him have his shit. Like seriously, it's already too many people on
But
Raw right now. Because we're forgetting that the Keith Lee's even on Raw right now.
we don't know what's the situation with Keith Lee. Period.
We don't know what the situation is, but I guarantee you, if Sheamus was on SmackDown, they
I'm
would need
pretty
another
sure
big guy
he's
to bring out.
probably getting repackaged, or Vince didn't like something about him and he's still getting some training or something backstage, or he made a move during the COVID shit with Mia Yim or something. Because ever since that, Keith Lee's been non-existent.
No,
But
but I
I get
seriously
your
think
point. I'm not gonna keep dwelling on this conversation. I get your point. I agree. We both agree he needs a title shot. You want the stats. I want him to solidify his spot on Raw like he's been doing. I want that to eventually lead to a dominant reign as WWE champion, where it's like there's no Cena, he's the top guy. He's one of the major stars, and I don't feel like he's ever had that. But we both can agree, Sheamus definitely is one of the greats right now, and he deserves more shine. Whether it's your idea of an IC title for stats or
give him the
universal title
straight
or
up,
the WWE title,
straight up.
he,
They
he
should
needs to be
draft him to SmackDown. Have Apollo win the Intercontinental Championship. Have a feud against that. Sheamus wins it. Biggie does something, whatever. He loses it to Biggie, and then have them be with Apollo. Then have Sheamus go after the
My
Universal
problem with
after
that is
that,
I want
and
elevation.
then
I want
and then
forward progress.
after a whole year when Sheamus is almost retiring, he could go to NXT UK.
Horrible. You just did some horrible booking right there, brother.
How was that horrible booking? You're
Because
bringing a huge star to
who's on
where
his
he
last year you're
yes,
saying to bring a
as a
star on his
farewell tour.
retirement year to a
Yes,
developmental that's behind the
yes,
developmental.
so that he could raise it because he's the only one that can
Let's
raise it.
move on because that shit just
He's the
frustrated
only.
me.
Who else can raise NXT UK?
Bro,
Nobody.
let NXT
Him
UK
by
raise
himself.
NXT
He
UK the
could
same way
he
NXT
could
raised
he could
NXT.
Sheamus could carry that whole show on his back and make it a great show.
But he's not. He's
Because
in the main
but he
show.
could. But he could though.
There's no reason for him to do backwards progress. If you would have
There
said regular
no,
NXT,
because
if you would have said regular
but
NXT, I'd have been like, okay.
why does it have to be regular NXT though?
Because
NXT's already established.
right.
Give him something that he has his that he could
So
build himself.
we just had
Sink
like
his
a
teeth
15-minute, maybe 20-minute conversation about how Sheamus needs to be in a certain light, in a certain pedestal. And your
Yes.
way is to make him a glorified jobber to put other
No,
people up.
no. I did not say he's gonna lose. First of
Regardless,
all,
is
you
his
build
year
him
out.
up.
That whole year is gonna
You
be
build
putting
him
people
up.
over.
You build him up, make him a big star, take him to NXT UK where he becomes an even bigger star because he's gonna elevate the brand, put more eyes to the NXT brand and everything, so they can actually make it, on par with the other NXT. Because the way it is right now, you're not even hearing ripples from over there.
Bro,
They need a huge star right now.
I get that, bro. But we're not. Sadly we're not covering NXT UK, bro. Like everything can't go
And
to
why is
NXT
that?
UK.
And why is that? And why is that? Because there's not enough star power. They only have Walter, and it's like if they had Finn Balor, I'd be like, okay, NXT UK
Right.
is getting it.
So realistically, they would
Finn
have to.
Balor didn't
So
go to NXT.
realistically, they would have to build up a roster with enough names to even have Sheamus go against.
Not even because they could just all job out to Sheamus.
How does that help?
It helps because
How
Sheamus
does that
bringing it.
help? A
Sheamus is
person on the
bringing.
way out beating everybody.
You trying to say star power is not gonna be affected to the NXT UK brand at all?
No,
I disagree. That you're saying that Sheamus doesn't deserve this title run. Then
I'm not saying he don't deserve the title run.
You
know why? You know why? Because when Finn Balor
leader,
original founder of the Bullet Club, jumped to NXT, it still didn't make him beat AEW. Still, what's the star power for? When the women's championships started crossing over, when Charlotte jumped to NXT as champion, when all these people come down to NXT, it does not do anything for NXT's ratings at all.
Well, NXT UK is not even on the fucking TV.
So
But
that
maybe,
furthers my point.
But
So
maybe
that furthers my point.
if they just like with AEW, they had Chris Jericho to get the network show. What if you had Sheamus play the same part and he dominates the whole roster and everything, faces a whole bunch of nobodies, and those nobodies actually start getting viewers on them and becoming household names?
That is way too many what ifs, bro. And
there's not what
as
ifs.
a fan, as somebody who covers it, you know that's not happening with Vince.
It could.
You know that. No, it can't, because Vince is not having that.
Because if
that was the case,
go to NXT
if that was the case,
NXT
would have still been a third brand, and we would have still had all three brands intermingling. We would have still had NXT on Survivor Series this year. No, Vince does not think like that. So when I'm trying to book Sheamus in a better position, I'm thinking with the tools that are literally available to him. You feel me? SmackDown, I get that. Anything you said on SmackDown, that's a possibility. But going to NXT UK, bro, that's
they should,
bro. We're wasting time,
bro. They should, because after this pandemic is over, you know, wrestlers could cross back and forth and everything, worlds collide and everything. They need star power. Walter can't hold that whole fucking show on his back forever. Done. It's not even there.
I really don't think Vince cares enough about NXT UK.
And that would be his fault, because it's smart.
It is all his fault.
Brand, and it'd be smart because it's smart doing the global branding like they're doing. But the thing is, they're just setting it up. But it's like, who is there to watch on these shows? You really trying to tell me Walter's a draw so people can watch NXT?
No, he's not.
You're gonna do. You're gonna have to bring at least a little bit of star power, just a little bit.
There's other ways to do that.
Just a little tiny bit of star power.
There's other ways to do that.
Do wonders.
Fantasy book Sheamus on his last year, having not accomplished any heavyweight championship runs.
I never said that.
But you're superseding.
I'm saying build them up on SmackDown, have them win the Intercontinental Championship, have him win the Universal title, build him up into a star. Make sure that he's a household name, and then send him to a place where, you know, fans will probably watch him, because there's a lot of matches that people would love to see Sheamus facing Jordan Devlin or Wolfgang, Walter, Alexander Wolf.
Let's be real. How many wrestlers are going to view that as a positive?
Going to NXT UK to have their own show? Finn Balor did it.
Why did Finn Balor do it?
I don't know why.
Because he was fed up with his horrible booking.
All right, so we should try to say that
on both shows. We're talking about Sheamus is being booked correctly.
All right, but
99.9% of the time, when a major star is on the main roster, Raw, SmackDown, and they get put on an NXT or a 205 Live or a main event or ECW when they had it, they get either want to leave, get miserable, or lose their value.
And you know why?
Like,
that's
history was
choice. That's their choice. You know why? Because if they were smart, they would actually try to raise the show up instead of just bringing it down. If Chris Benoit decided that he liked his spot in ECW because they was gonna make him the main star, and he didn't go fall into a depression
and look
because
what
of
happened to that.
All right, but if he would have just took it as a challenge and eventually become like the ECW champion, because he was, and he could have been the dominant guy there and everything, and basically all the wrestlers would have to go through him. He was gonna be the measuring stick.
But you gotta look at
if you don't see that with your eyes, it's like, yo, come on.
You have to look at what you're asking these guys. You're asking these guys who scraped and clawed to get to the top of the card on the main show, on the historic show. Raw,
Yeah.
or SmackDown, where the titles that they grew up watching, the lineages that they grew up dreamed about are on those shows. You're asking somebody who finally made it to the main event,
and they got everything
the
that they
taste of
wanted.
it, got
They got everything they wanted.
then
They
never got it
accomplished
back.
everything. They accomplished everything. What's there left to do? You accomplished everything.
Look at Orton.
What?
How many years Orton's been around? There's still shit he's doing.
And what did they call him? What did they call him?
This year?
The most boring wrestler ever for 5 years straight.
And who's saying that now?
It's still.
I haven't heard anyone say that. I've never heard anyone say Randy Orton was boring ever.
Oh,
the only thing I've ever heard was his promo game.
No, he's boring, bro. He's always the same gimmick. Even when he turned from Legend Killer to Legend.
Okay.
Is he you're the same person though?
Taker, Triple H, Jericho, all these guys have been in the game for
a lot of them change certain things about them. They rearrange certain things about
the only
gimmick,
one
though.
that I mentioned
that's not
that
even
did
true.
The hopping.
Triple H.
That did the hopping. Triple H did it
different.
Triple H didn't wrestle in NXT.
No, but I'm saying that he had different types of gimmicks. He did different types of gimmicks, and he was able to transition them into something else. Can you see Sheamus as a different gimmick right now?
Sheamus has already done multiple gimmicks.
Like what? Besides that, he's a drunk brawler from UK. Because that's basically what he is.
As now.
What else has he been?
He was United States champion Sheamus.
No. But I'm saying
where he changed his whole attire.
But without
that was his gimmick. That was his gimmick.
That's just him. Just him.
There was
being
King
a
Sheamus. There was King Sheamus. There was Sheamus with the leprechaun. There was the bar Sheamus. Come on, he's changed his gimmick.
Nah, his character is essentially the same.
I'm just the brawler.
His character is essentially the same. He's basically a beefed up fit Finley.
So is Y2J Jericho the same as Le Champion?
No, it's not. It's completely night and day.
It's the same skeleton with different shit.
No, because
Sheamus got the same skeleton.
You can't say the Y2J. You can't say the Y2J gimmick is the same exact gimmick as Le Champion. Because
Y2J now in AEW.
Yes.
You don't think he acts the same as Y2J?
No.
It's the same dude.
No, because I could tell you why. Because Y2J was more of a cartoon character, and Le Champion is more of like
that's not necessarily true.
He's just full of himself. It's a
you gotta
different
break
type.
that. You gotta see the longevity of Y2J. Y2J was Y2J.
I was watching him even from in ECW.
What about Serious Y2J?
Yeah,
it's the same Y2J.
It's not the same Y2J.
Different.
He talked differently. This was also the Y2J that the Miz eventually took his whole swag from. That heel Y2J. It's not the same thing.
It's been the same gimmick.
It's not Chris Jericho has not been the same gimmick.
I'm not saying that.
1,000%.
I'm saying you can't say Sheamus has been the same gimmick his entire career.
But he is. It's the same character. His demeanor hasn't changed. Y2J's demeanor went to heel.
His motivation
came back.
His looks, everything he's done has changed.
Not really. He's the same. If you bring him from when he first started to right now, how much characterization has changed about Sheamus? From his, he's not different.
Completely different phases, bro.
It's not. It's really not. It's not. It's the same guy. It's the same guy.
King Sheamus is not the same Sheamus as original Sheamus, and King
yes,
Sheamus.
He is.
No, he's not.
Yo, son, his shit. What? When has he changed his wrestling style or anything like that, or the way he talks,
you don't
or anything like that? Other than physical appearances and everything, which is garbs and everything, it's the same characterization. It's the same motivations. It's like that. Just because they're different titles.
Would you say? Would you say Miz is the same as that character?
No.
He does the same thing. He talks
the
same.
No,
he just
it's not
changes
the same. It's
He
not the
just made it
same.
close.
It's not the same though, because Miz is a Hollywood star now. He had characterization now to add it to it, because before he was real world and he was trying to gain the respect of his peers. Now he has the respect of his peers, and now he's actually just being, the Hollywood movie star that everybody wants to be like that. It's different.
I'm gonna change this episode.
It's different though. It's really different. Like, cause I don't know, man. I don't know what else, how you want me to say, but Sheamus is the same exact personality that he was when he started. You can't say that for the Miz.
I 100%.
You can't say that about the Miz. You can't say that about anybody else. But
Sheamus is not the same person.
Sheamus is the Irish Alberto Del Rio because their gimmick never changed.
That's not true, and that's the.
It is true.
It's not true.
It is true.
Not true. The bar Sheamus is completely different than the way Sheamus is now, bro.
All right, if you say that, but I watched the whole bar, and
I did too,
and I watched Sheamus solo, and it's like, yo, it's the same character. He wants that's his motivation. He wants to do this, that, and it's like it never strayed away from that path.
That's not.
It
true.
is. It is true.
I already named different phases in his character.
All right, different phases, but they're the same character. If you strip all that down,
character.
It's the same character, bro. No, because Y2J Chris Jericho isn't the same as serious Chris Jericho, which isn't the same as, there's different time periods and everything. And it's like, that's like saying that the King of Kings Triple H is the same as DX Triple H.
They are essentially the same thing.
They're not.
All he did was less cross chops.
That's not the same thing. Because you got to understand, DX Triple H is more like
he didn't change
his team comedy.
He didn't change his the way he talks. He didn't change his looks for the most part. All he did was change his entrance and his WrestleMania entrances. That's pretty much it. Triple H is essentially the only time I give you credit that was a complete difference from DX and was Evolution. That was a different Triple H. King of Kings is just a sum of all the parts.
Yeah, but the thing is like, yo, because how I'm gonna put it like this. So the DX Triple H, the Shawn Michaels Triple H, that brand of comedy is basically the teenage comedy dick and fart jokes, right? He wasn't doing that.
Still does that
after that. No, but he does it once in a while. But is he constantly doing it?
No, because when he's with Shawn Michaels,
because all right, when he's with Shawn Michaels, but that's not the same character.
It's the same character.
It's not the same character. He's more serious.
What you're saying is literally what I'm saying for Sheamus. Literally.
Nah, I don't think so, because Sheamus is the same character.
Bro, it's literally the same. No, we've seen funny Sheamus. We've seen serious Sheamus. The bar Sheamus is not this Sheamus, bro.
Yes,
it's
it
the
is.
Same thing.
It definitely is.
I'm gonna stop this here. I will no longer indulge this conversation. This became a whole discussion. We're like 40 minutes in, like Asuka versus Peyton Royce, the second segment of the fucking night. Like, quick match. I really didn't care for it. Honestly, it was just to put Asuka back over after coming off of her injury. Getting her teeth kicked out. Peyton Royce only got this match because of her Raw Talk promo, which at least counted for something. Then Rhea Ripley comes out after Asuka picks up the win. Rhea Ripley comes out, and this is her debut. She's officially on Raw and challenges Asuka straight up. Asuka, of course, says a bunch of stuff we didn't understand, and then eventually says you're not ready for Asuka and accepts the challenge from Rhea Ripley. So what do you think about Peyton Royce, the match between her and Asuka, Rhea Ripley's debut, and the match that's been set up for WrestleMania?
The match is a 2. Let's just be honest with it. The match is a 2. And
it was.
It's a 2, and it's like, yo, after Peyton Royce cut that promo on Raw Talk, and you give her this shitty ass squash match, it's like, yo, bro, I demand my release right after the match. Straight up, demand your release.
Yeah,
Go be with your husband in AEW, because obviously they're not gonna take you seriously. Because after you cut that perfect ass
which is
promo,
fucking ironic because she was the one that they were taking serious and threw Billy Kay on SmackDown, and now Billy Kay is the one that's succeeding.
and it's like, bro, why'd you even break them up in the first place?
I have no idea because
You
Billy
broke
Kay
them
is
up.
succeeding because her storyline is her trying to get a part of a team.
They broke them up for no apparent reason, and it's like they don't even want to give them a chance, and they're trying to put them in different tag teams.
Yeah,
Like, for what? It doesn't make sense. Like, they should have never split up the Iconics if they wanted to, if they didn't take Peyton Royce seriously, or if they didn't want them to get single careers at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. They need to, like I said, if Peyton Royce is serious, she should either give them an ultimatum, like, listen, either put me back with the Iconics or future endeavor me. Straight up.
and
Straight up, just
honestly, I feel like
they,
not that Andrade set the precedent, but he should set the precedent. I want out of this bitch. Y'all not doing nothing with me. I want out. Like, I feel like if more wrestlers banded together and demanded action and just like, you know what, Vince, fuck you. Sit me down and pay me to sit.
you know what it is. You know what it
I
is.
think they'll force his hand.
It's the simple fact that WWE signed way too much talent with no clear goal.
Yep. Because of AEW,
Because,
of course.
and it's not even because of AEW.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not even because it's not even because of that. I'm talking about way before AEW was even a thing. They were signing everybody left and right for God knows what reason, right? Because remember, they started with the Ring of Honor guys. They were taking everybody from Ring of Honor, occasionally somebody from TNA here and there, but it got to a point where there's too many people in NXT, and then they started putting it into the main roster and everything, and they fell in the main roster, and then you have a whole bunch of NXT wrestlers on the main rosters who ain't really doing nothing. And mind you, you got brand new classes every couple of weeks in the Performance Center. It seems like every couple of weeks there's gonna be brand new wrestlers. So it's like, and this is and now they're at war. So before they were signing too many people, now they're doubly.
You know what really
signing
needs
too
to
many
happen
people.
to go back to your NXT UK shit? Instead of people from NXT elevating to Raw and SmackDown, they need to run the UK circuit.
That's what I've been trying to say.
NXT and NXT UK, they have to run both circuits before they ever touch Raw and SmackDown.
That's what I've been trying to say. But the thing with NXT UK, they need star power.
And the way you get that is by giving them the NXT guys that we already in love with. Or,
send back the homegrown talent that are stars. I would love for Finn Balor.
I just really don't see them doing that.
They need to stop. They need to stop with that pride shit, man. That pride is not going to take them far.
You see this era we living in, bro.
Yeah, but
tuck their own shit.
They need. If he wants to be, straight up, they need star power NXT UK. They need to stop thinking about ego, because they're already star. They're already household name in the wrestling business. They need to bring that household name power to something that's not really household name, and that's NXT UK. That's what I'm saying.
No, I completely agree with you on the sentiments of NXT
UK. Because right now Walter is basically getting scoliosis, sciatica, and all these back problems from carrying the whole fucking show.
Oh,
seriously.
I thought you was
and carrying the whole fucking show, and not 1 year, not 2 years, 3 years straight. And there's no person that I believe can take the NXT UK title.
How long has he been champion?
It's been up for a while.
He probably
three. When
Pete
The
Dunne
last
already,
time we
right?
went to WrestleMania, the last time when we went to WrestleMania was the week that Pete Dunne lost that title.
God damn, it's been 2 years he's held that title.
And there's nobody in NXT UK that could even remotely be credible enough to challenge him. That's why I'm saying Sheamus needs to go, because Sheamus is the only credible person that I believe in the whole wrestling thing right now that could go to UK, get a major pop, win the title off the credibility. But the thing is,
Sheamus is that kind of guy, but I feel like he would probably see it as
could.
a promotion.
I don't think so, because Sheamus got everything and he's winding down his career. He knows that, like he already has spinal stenosis and all of that. His career is winding down. The smart thing would do is be like, you know what? Let me give back to the UK scene. Let me try to elevate the NXT UK.
And he could
and all of
rest.
that. And that's it.
I'm not saying
Exactly.
that. I'm not
Because
saying.
honestly, you're trying to say
is a bad idea.
because you're trying
I'm
to
just
say
trying to be
that.
realistic. I don't see.
Because honestly, Walter versus Sheamus, that's a fucking draw. That's a motherfucking draw on a WrestleMania
the sad
card.
thing is, if you pull Walter from NXT UK,
it'll be dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can't bring Walter to the America. So the best thing you can do is send Sheamus back to UK. But anyways, back to Peyton Rose.
Yeah, he would have to fucking change his whole life around for that.
But back to Peyton Rose and Oscar. Yeah. It's like, yo, why are you doing this to Peyton? It doesn't make any sense at all. And then boom, oh my God. Never mind the fact that they debuted somebody just before WrestleMania. Never mind the fact that it was Rhea Ripley. Never mind the fact that
already has a WrestleMania under her belt.
Exactly, a WrestleMania match under her belt. Never mind all of that. First night championship match.
Yeah, she straight up said it. Her first night on the roster, she wants that title.
You're not Carlito. You're not Paige to be doing shit like that. Like, come on.
One of the big things she did mention in this promo, she refuted all the rumors as far as Charlotte goes and confirmed that Charlotte has COVID-19. That's why she's not there. So her absence has really nothing to do with the Andrade situation.
Yo, straight up, I thought if I was Peyton and I saw that,
she should leave.
I want my release.
Yeah, I want my release. And I'm not gonna say go to AEW, but you should leave. Yeah,
he needs to go somewhere.
Go back to NXT.
Nah.
Go back to NXT.
Nah.
That women's division is fire down there. All right, but
I wouldn't
Ripley,
go back to,
I think
you see like ego. I really believe that would be ego stopping her to go back from NXT. That's ego. That would be ego. Not going back to NXT UK. I mean, not going back to NXT after all of that shit. That's ego. But Sheamus going to some place that he's never been at, I don't think that's ego. But like I said, he's like, yo,
just because he has to elevate a whole brand. You know, a lot of.
I mean, a lot of people.
It won't be the first time a wrestler not saying he's that type of person. We don't know, but it's been documented in history. Even the greats like Stone Cold.
Yeah,
the greats like Stone Cold. He didn't want to put over Brock Lesnar,
and I wouldn't have either.
And left WWE. So imagine, some of these guys, and that's what I'm.
But the thing is, here's my thing.
As a demotion.
Here's my thing. I would just book Sheamus strong throughout this whole thing. Have him lose on a fluke, retirement match, blah, blah, blah. The whole NXT roster just beats the fuck out of him. And that's it. He looks strong, retirement, and that's it. A whole gang of niggas had to fucking basically get him out.
Speaking of people that beat the shit out of Sheamus, we got Drew McIntyre backstage with Adam Pearce. And he tells him that Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin challenges him to a handicap match. And they just had a long-winded way of Drew McIntyre accepting. Next up, we got Miss TV in the ring. And
Yo, I got a question. Is it Miss TV or is it the dirt sheet?
it was Miss
Because
next
the
week
Miz,
the dirt sheet.
no, because my thing is like, yo,
It should just be the dirt sheet.
it should just be the dirt sheet, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, Miz. Because the thing is like, yo, he
Got together for a reason.
and it's like the Miz is using them interchangeably. Like he says, Miss TV, dirt sheet, Miss TV. It's like, yo, bro, just combine them into one show so that everybody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Because
like it doesn't make any sense.
this was
Just
Miss TV, but next week is the dirt sheet.
This week is the Miss TV, but next week on our segment is the dirt sheet.
Yeah, it's the dirt sheet. Yeah, that's definitely a little confusing, but
like stop, like come on, like let's not give wrestling fans even more a chance to think about things.
So the Miz goes out there and he's cutting a promo pretty much on Bad Bunny. We knew he was gonna go this direction. Shows the video package of the build up to why this is even a thing. Bad Bunny hitting him. Him hitting Bad Bunny last week with a guitar during that Elias Jackson racist match from last week. So sets out the challenge to Bad Bunny, then says, "Watch the example I make out of Jeff Hardy," and it's like, example to make out of Jeff Hardy. I love the Miz. Miz is my guy. But the fact that you got booked storyline wise, you got the guy who's been running away from Bobby Lashley. You got the guy who's been booked as the coward heel champion. Coward heel. He hasn't been booked dominant in over a year and change when they had the face story where he was actually taking risk and shit. He hasn't been dominant since then. So this whole year and change, he's been booked as the heel coward once again. And he's gonna make an example out of Jeff Hardy. So they have nothing to do with Jeff Hardy. They can't think of a single thing to do with Jeff Hardy other than fucking job him to the Miz.
Yo, watch your mouth.
The Miz is my guy.
Watch your mouth, man.
You know the Miz is my guy. But for real though, the disrespect on Jeff Hardy.
First of all, you think this was the disrespect part of Jeff Hardy, but not the drunk driving storyline? Was it the disrespect part?
That was ultra disrespect.
This is just a sprinkle. This is just a sprinkle.
Yeah, but at least then they were booking him with that in a major arc where he was featured and won. He's a jobber now. They really just said, "Hey, Jeff, stop eating that pizza. Go lose to the Miz. We need you to lose because Bad Bunny has a program over you. You don't. So you're not doing shit. Go lose to the Miz."
And he's not going to be featured on one of your songs. There won't be no obsolete remix.
Not only that, but Jeff ain't even going to be featured on WrestleMania. He ain't going to jump off nothing. If anybody needs to ask for their release right now, it's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy needs a release.
I don't think so.
Go make the Hardy Boys in AEW because your brother needs a little bit of help.
I don't think. The funny thing, I think Jeff is okay with everything.
I mean, if he's okay with it, hey, more power.
That's how I'm.
What else do you need in your career? Honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like
he's on his. I feel like
WWE titles. You've had Intercontinental titles. You've had a lot.
He's a Grand Slam. He doesn't need to do anything right now. It's not like he's Sheamus and needs to get an Intercontinental title run and a Universal title. I mean, you know what? He needs a Universal title run. That's what Jeff needs.
Yeah,
but
he needs to go to SmackDown.
One last top title, and that would be the Universal. Like, come on. But honestly, I don't even think he has it in him to win the Universal title though.
No,
on a serious legit.
honestly, I love Jeff Hardy, but I don't have faith in him in his career at this point to be put in a pedestal that he can carry the entire show. I don't think he I don't think he's up for that challenge.
Not anymore.
I don't
Which
think
is
he,
why.
I
Which
don't
is
think
why
he ever really
which
was ready for that challenge.
nah, he was.
When?
He was.
He was always on drugs, as far as I know, in the major title arcs.
His TNA run was pretty good when he was the Antichrist of professional wrestling, but
You saw
you know
that?
he wanted to race all them years there then, and you know it's like you got to understand because Jeff did come back and then went back to TNA too. So it's like he hops around producing both promotions. So it's not like we say like, oh, he can leave and he's just being stubborn and everything. It's like, no, he doesn't. He's been there. And it's like now it's like, and then you got to think in his mind, does he really want to go back to that thing again? Or does he want to cash in those big checks that Vince is paying? Because I guarantee you that Jeff said, you know what? If you don't give me a big, large sum of money for this next contract, hello, brother.
Yeah.
What's going
The
on?
brothers over there.
Have the Hardy Boys against the Young Bucks? Like, come on, fam. On AEW, you think Vince would allow that? Hell no. Give Jeff Hardy $5 million per year.
Yeah, so
Well, not.
let's move
That's
on.
let's be honest. That's exactly what's happening. And Jeff is like, you know
Nah, it's
what?
true.
Stop getting paid so much and everything. I'm good.
It's
Like,
true.
what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Fire me so I
I
can
don't-
show up to AEW?
I don't put it out the realm of possibility that he's happy with his situation because he could
He's
just do-
happy. He's good. He's chilling. He doesn't need to do anything
Not only that,
any at all in his career.
WWE has accepted his bullshit on.
You know what?
occasions.
You know what? I'm gonna put him in the Sheamus category. That nigga needs to go to NXT UK. We need some star
Alright.
power.
So the Miz ends up picking up that win on Jeff Hardy. Before we ship him to NXT UK, he did lose to the Miz, and Miz is celebrating a victory, this dominant victory. Jeff got some shit in, but it wasn't. It was a glorified squash jobber match. Bad Bunny comes out, smashes the guitar on Miz's back, and tells him, "I accept your challenge, bitch. Respect my Puerto Rican brother, Bad Bunny. All you haters out there, you heard?" Then we go backstage with AJ Styles.
Wait. Before we even move past this segment, and you know what? I'm not even gonna say that Bad Bunny should be winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania because I'm past that now.
Finally.
The match that Bad Bunny should have right now is beating the fuck out of Lince Dorado.
Yo, for real. Wake up, buddy. You're not freaking Mexican, man. I agree.
That's the match that need to happen on WrestleMania. Just smacking the sense of him. But let's move on.
Right. AJ Styles are almost hyping up. Obviously hyping up their match with the New Day. We got Matt Riddle coming around, calling AJ Styles skipper.
Because he is the skipper.
They end up walking out to cut a promo pretty much on the New Day. They're talking about how excited they are. They're gonna, they just jumped over the entire tag team division, or lack of a tag team division that we have. They jumped over whoever is left in there, and not even an official tag team getting this match at WrestleMania. Fuck the Hurt Businesses rematch. Screw those guys. So New Day comes on and pretty much trolls them like you don't really know each other, and starts asking AJ Styles what are almost favorite things. So let's kind of run that down, right? So let's see. So he goes, "What is Almost's favorite color?" And AJ Styles says red. Almost goes, "It's mauve." Styles says,
"That's not even a real color."
That's not even a real color. Right. Then they ask, "What's his favorite ice cream?" He says, "It's
vanilla bean,"
which is saying, it's telling that he chose vanilla bean. But I won't take this discussion that way. Almost replies,
Caramel, peanut butter.
caramel. Then they ask him, who's his favorite superstar of all time? And AJ Styles goes, of course, it's me, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Andre the Giant.
Goes, Andre the Giant. So this leads to a match, AJ Styles versus Kofi Kingston. Which do we even have to say was a good match? It's AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So I did like how Kofi Kingston went for the Trouble in Paradise and AJ Styles followed up with his own.
Wait. Because something happened before this match.
Yeah, they cut the promo.
No. I'm talking about a commercial.
What commercial?
They showed the NWO for no reason. You noticed that, right?
No, they're being inducted to the Hall of Fame since they didn't get to do it last year.
So now they're doing it right now.
So they're doing it. The 2020 and 2021 Hall of Fame is merged together this year. Because
that's a long ass fucking show right there.
It's his own separate thing.
No, they need to have separate shows for each year then.
They should. It should be 2 nights. One show before Mania airs, and the other show before the second night of Mania airs. Either way, it's a virtual thing. It's his own entity, so could get around to it. And I'm pretty sure people are gonna skip through certain people. So, speaking of that, so far they've announced Molly Holly being inducted. That's well deserved. I forgot who else. Did they?
Nobody.
But the rumors are Taker or Daniel Bryan,
Rob Van Dam,
and RVD. Right. We'll see about that.
I don't think they should put Daniel Bryan anytime soon.
Me either. I think he needs.
They need to give him at least another 5 to 10 years before they even think about putting him in there. Because I hated the fact when Edge retired, they put him in the Hall of Fame immediately.
But you already knew that man was a Hall of Famer.
All right, but here's the thing. Now he came back, and now everybody's facing a Hall of Famer who could literally go.
So people just great, bro.
Nah, son, that doesn't make any sense, man.
Chris Jericho's a living legend, and nobody questions it.
I mean, but he's not on the Hall of Fame yet. Let me give you a list of people that Edge passed to get on the Hall of Fame list. Number 1, the British Bulldog. Number 2, the Undertaker. Number 3, the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, Macho's in there.
No, he was there after Edge. After Edge. So you're trying to tell me that that Edge deserved to be in the Hall of Fame before the Macho Man Randy Savage? Triple H.
I will say because Edge gave me 3+ TLCs. Yeah. That was my error.
They should have waited. They should have waited. Like there was no reason just because he retired that year to give him the Hall of Fame. It just basically took everything away from it. Like, come on. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. They should have never done that. They should have just waited. Now, this year, they could have done Edge being in the Hall of Fame. He came back. He's going in the Hall of Fame too. I would have understood that. Because boom, now you have Randy Savage, you have the British Bulldog, and what have you, and a whole bunch of other people that I feel could have been that are more deserving before him.
That deserved it before him.
Huh?
There's still a bunch of legends that deserve the Hall of Fame before he did.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
I feel
that's a bigger conversation, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. All of these wrestlers that got looked over because Edge retired that year. And for what? He came back. It's like, what are you doing? You just did that because you felt bad for the dude, and I didn't want to feel that way. I wanted him to be celebrated for his career, and instead of him being celebrated for his career, he was celebrated because of his injury that year.
That's true.
And there was a whole bunch of different other wrestlers that deserved to be there before.
Well, let's just be glad when Daniel Bryan got injured, they didn't fucking Hall of Fame him too.
because that would have been even more funnier. Like it didn't even take him that long to come back.
So let's move on. We got Kofi Kingston ends up picking up the win with a SOS, and then pretty much they celebrate while Omos and AJ look on. Then we go back to the person who stole this entire fucking show from us today. Sheamus is backstage, and he gets approached by Kevin Patrick, who's I guess the name of the new announcer, and
Charlie Caruso.
Horrible. They asked about his loss to Lashley and his loss to Drew McIntyre, and how he felt about McIntyre coming out to help him. He pretty much says, it was for out of respect, but he didn't ask for it or needed it. And then Matt Riddle scoots around and ends up ticking Sheamus off. Sheamus
asking him about leprechauns and everything.
All stupid shit. And then he ends up taking Matt Riddle's scooter and hitting him with it in the stomach. So hopefully you got 2-3 weeks. We've been talking about Sheamus. Hopefully this leads to
a U.S. title
Matt
run?
Riddle versus Sheamus at WrestleMania.
Give US
Sheamus
title?
the fucking title.
The same Sheamus, title that he already had back.
Just before. Give it to him. Just give it to him. He's doing something. He deserves something right now.
Something that probably something that he hadn't had before, but
I mean, it's a beautiful new title. He didn't have that exact one.
I guess.
He could elevate, that title a little bit better too. Then we got the handicap match, Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. And need we get into the nitty-gritty? Because we already know Drew McIntyre beat both of their asses. He hit a Claymore kick so hard on Cedric Alexander. This man flipped like completely and landed on his face. It was definitely worth watching. It was a good match overall, but we already knew what the outcome of this was going to be. And this matchup was to put Her Business in good standing with Bobby Lashley, but obviously that's not the case. So I don't know, man. This Her Business shit got me upset, but Drew McIntyre nonetheless standing tall, ends up pointed to the sign, looking real strong going into Mania. So I really think they're gonna end up going that direction. Drew taking it. So we go backstage. MVP Shelton Benjamin sells Cedric Alexander, and he pretty much shits on them. We fucking told you we did not want you to help Bobby Lashley. They took the Roman Reigns kind of situation where
they copied it. Yeah, they didn't take it. They copied it word for word.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like, hey, can you change it up a little bit? No.
Yeah, it was.
It's the same exact thing.
You look bad. You make Bobby Lashley look bad. You make the Her Business look bad. Lashley comes pissed off.
Yeah, I got to do something about that.
Lashley comes pissed off. Like, I don't need you guys. You obviously can't get the job done. Stores it to the random locker room and sets a challenge.
You mean the 24/7 title locker room?
Pretty much. The 24/7 championship title locker room, and says the person who takes out Drew McIntyre actually takes him out, gets the title shot at WrestleMania. So, I mean, gets the title shot, period. But he needs Drew taken out before WrestleMania. So the people in the room, Lucha Trash Party, Akira Tozawa, Drew Gulak, Humberto Carrillo, and Rakake. The only person I can remotely see step into the play would be Rakake, which would be needed. And I know he would get his ass whooped for Sheamus. I mean, against Sheamus taking over against Drew McIntyre. But I hope that lights like kind of the fire in Ricochet, that he would join the Hurt Business and do something.
I disagree. I think the only person that could really give it to Drew McIntyre is Drew Gulak. The technical make them tap. I think that's something that Drew Gulak could do. I
In
don't
the
think
ring,
Ricochet could
in the
pull it
ring,
off.
completely agree. If they change his gimmick, okay. Matter of fact, I changed it. I agree with you. You know why? Because Drew Gulak actually tried to join the Hurt Business and was denied. Maybe this will be the catalyst for him to actually prove to Lashley he deserves to be in the group.
And then on top of that is like Ricochet, his style against Drew McIntyre, you're just gonna have another Cedric Alexander flip. And we already just seen that.
I just want Rocket to do something. That's it. Just do something.
Go back to Jaguchi, Japan, fam.
Next up, we got a match that shouldn't have even happened. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And the reason why I say this shouldn't happen because these ladies were fucking number one contenders. They were number one contenders. The injury of Nia Jax injures Mandy Rose and they lose their opportunity. Never got their shot. Never got this match until today. Why this didn't go to fucking WrestleMania? Why? Because Naomi and fucking Lana are at commentary and they're getting yet another shot at the titles after already losing. Why? If it's not a triple threat tag team match or fatal four-way tag team women's match, I don't give a shit. I don't. I want to see, in this case, I want to see Natalya and Tamina versus Nia Jax and Shayna versus Mandy and Dana and Naomi and Lana. That's the only way I accept this shit. You completely just said fuck these girls. Although they earned their number one contendership, they'll never get it. They'll never get the title match. So, you got any thoughts on that?
I can't even book this correctly. There's no way, shape, and form that you can actually repair any of this storyline at all whatsoever.
There's no storyline. There's no storyline.
No, there is a storyline. The storyline is Nia Jax with Reginald for some reason. That has nothing to do with Raw. And they're facing two blondes who had a chance a long time ago but couldn't. And for some reason, because Nia Jax had a feud with Lana, Lana's going to take the tag team championship at WrestleMania. And you're shaking your head, but you know I'm right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
You are right.
That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's why I have nothing. That's why I have
They already lost. They already lost. They already lost.
I have nothing to say about this storyline.
Either. Let's continue.
Because you can't even book it. You can't even fix it because it's so fucked up. Because they're building on so many threads, and they're just making anything, and it's so bad that they had to introduce NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. For what? Can somebody tell me? Yo, somebody tell me why?
Fuck them. They never come defending, and the last time they did it was whack. You disrespected our women's division. Let's get our own.
And is that women's tag team championship going to be defended in NXT UK too?
We're gonna get NXT UK women's tag team championships.
I hope not, because it should be just like the fucking cruiserweight championship. Because
same way we got two NXT championships, two NXT tag team championships.
No, Jordan Devlin already won it.
The NXT tag team championships?
No, I mean the cruiserweight.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying
about the cruiserweight. I'm saying the same way we got NXT UK tag and new NXT tag team champions.
Nah, what I'm saying is that they should treat the women's tag team championships as like the cruiserweight title being defended against both NXT brands.
Or just treat it how the women's tag team titles are treated on Raw and SmackDown.
Or just drop the whole fucking tag team titles, NXT tag team titles, just have them defended on all the brands. Like it was originally supposed to be. And honestly, this
only got it like twice.
The shit that bothers me the most about this whole thing is that they could have got any NXT women tag team a spot in WrestleMania, give them the spotlight, have the star power to bring it back to NXT, whichever brand, either or, bring the star power back from WrestleMania to NXT. We're not doing that. Instead, we're going by the same storyline that Lana's been getting put through 8 tables, became the only survivor at Survivor Series, which I predicted that, by the way.
All her partners moved on from her, and now we got a new partner.
And it's like, and I have a feeling Lana's definitely gonna take it.
Me too. Let's move on from that. We get Firefly Funhouse little backstage promo from Alexa Bliss, and I gotta admit, starting to get a little bit tired of Alexa Bliss being the spotlight, the featured person over Bray Wyatt and over the Fiend. He's back, and I don't want him to be her bodyguard. He brought her into the fold, not the other way around. So you're starting to make the storyline a little stale for me, but we'll get more to that later. And this is a segment that the next segment I will be skipping every single week. So, ladies and gentlemen, Elias with Jackson Races. He ends up fighting Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman gets the win, and let's move on.
Yo, before we move on, forget Jackson Racists. In what fucking universe is this even remotely a good storyline? Even just cut out Jackson Racist.
No, fuck them. If you talk about Braun Strowman and Shane
and Elias,
this has to be the worst storyline I've ever seen them make.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. When Braun and Elias,
up there were one of the worst.
So when Braun and Elias had their first feud, wasn't a type of song that they played Braun is stupid, and that like some type of variation of it, and then Braun came out with a cello and acting like that was a guitar.
Yeah,
they wanted to rehash this, but yet instead use Shane.
I forgot about that.
Not happening. Like, no.
They did.
You're not gonna pull a fast one.
They sang the song together. Him and Shane sang the song together.
Like, come on.
Shit is trash.
You just recycled something that you did 2 years ago, but just added Shane.
This is just to make Shane versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania.
And it's like, for what? What? Who gives a fuck?
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody. It's okay to take the spot once in a blue moon, but you're taking WrestleMania spots, bro.
It's bad enough they have to deal with Bad Bunny. It's bad enough they have to deal with NXT call-ups, getting their matches the first night. It's bad enough you have a team that's not even a tag team going after the tag team championships.
What's right now? This WrestleMania is trash.
Like it's
outside of Bobby, Drew, Roman, I don't care about any other match so far.
What's next? Are we gonna have Reginald win the World's Strongest Championship that WWE is gonna fucking, because that's the only thing that I would feel would make it even more absurd than what it is. Having somebody win a championship, like have Reginald win the women's championship. Oh my god!
That looks like the direction they're going. He keeps involving himself in every
the women's tag team match.
Women's tag team.
Wow.
In the women's title matches. You never know.
That's fucked up. Poor Reginald.
All right, so next up we have the main event of the evening, which is pretty much Randy Orton. He's gonna call out the Fiend. And pretty much this ends up with Alexa Bliss coming in, doing kind of the same, the same thing that happened in Fastlane as far as teasing Orton and stuff like that. I like the Fiend's new look. I really do. Storyline wise, him being burned, all that. But this entire segment wasn't needed. And the way this segment was done was boring. And it just ended with Orton. Orton hits a fucking RKO on the Fiend. The Fiend is down for a couple seconds. He focuses attention on Alexa Bliss for a while. Then the Fiend gets up, hits the mandible claw when he turned. Why would you even let the Fiend take an RKO and sell it for that long if this is the resurrection of the Fiend?
I don't think he was selling it. I think he was playing possum.
I hope. But he was down too long.
No, because as soon as Randy hit the RKO, Alexa got into the ring, causing Randy to be distracted, so he could get the drop on him. It was just the Fiend playing possum in my eyes. He wasn't selling shit.
The Fiend doesn't need to play possum.
But that's his mind game. That's his mind game.
Yeah.
That, oh yes, I just took your finisher. I just took your RKO, and guess what? You turned around, I'm back, and out of nowhere, you just caught a mandible claw.
I just feel like this. I feel like with this whole Burn the Fiend, he came back mangled and dark, and this should be the new, darker, more horror version of the Fiend. This is the gory version of the Fiend. No more Funhouse, no more of that happy music. Like, they need to go full dark. Like I said on the Fastlane review, I feel like no more Funhouse shit, no more sitting in Alexa's Playhouse, none of that shit. They need to go back to the burnt compound of Bray Wyatt's family. Start cutting promos in that, like, make this shit really supernatural, because that's the way you're going. Alexa Bliss, I think, has overstayed her welcome as the mouthpiece for the Fiend.
Well, let me say this. I'm gonna give a round of applause to Alexa Bliss, because she finally did what she's been trying to do the past 4 to 5 years. And that's become the Harley Quinn of the WWE. And you know what? She is the Harley Quinn of WWE. And I'm going to give you why. A reason why. Because number one, comic book readers doesn't like Harley Quinn. Because Harley Quinn's been shoved down all of their throats for far too long. And the reason why is because they want to have this romanticism with the Joker and all of that. Meanwhile, the Joker isn't that type of character. This current Fiend isn't that type of character.
Yeah.
So congratulations, but you just became so fucking annoying in this fucking storyline because you overstayed your welcome. Just like, oh my God, who? Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and I don't want it to come off like we're knocking her, nothing like that, because her character changed. The way that she carried this storyline while the Fiend was gone. It's just the past couple of weeks, it's been like
the essence should have came out of her and into the goo that Randy Orton was spewing, and that should have been. And then boom, the Fiend comes back. Alexa's back to normal. I think
my biggest disappointment was at Fastlane. There should have probably been a cinematic match, and the match should have showed, like you saying, how the Fiend really formed back and kind of give us the vision of what we're gonna expect from the Fiend now. Because it's like, I don't want to see no Funhouse anymore. This guy looks fucking crazy. We thought he looked crazy before. He looks even crazier. So he needs to be more dominant.
Because I have a feeling like right now Bray Wyatt's in his how would you say it?
Slipknot album too.
It's not. Because the thing is, I'm trying to bring up a reference, but the thing is, I don't know this franchise that much. In Five Nights at Freddy, there's these animatronics and everything, right? And there's this one that's completely broken down and everything, and that's basically like the most scariest character, whatever. That's what he is right now. He's broken down. He's the defective animatronic, that's out killing things and shit. You know, that's basically how I feel he is right now. And that's probably how they should have had the cinematic type of match, having sort of like Five Nights at Freddy, where Randy Orton's looking around and everything, trying to find the Fiend. He sees a glance real quick. He looks, he's gone. You know, just like in Five Nights at
It should have been a horror movie.
Yeah,
the match should have been a horror movie.
And then all of a sudden you see Alexa running around as well. Next thing you know,
with that being said,
Alexa,
hold on.
Goes into the
prediction. Their match at Mania is gonna be a cinematic horror movie.
It has to be.
That's the only way it makes sense.
It has to be.
Because the Fiend that he's gonna face everything he's ever been through. So I predict another match like John Cena versus Fiend from last year.
Yeah. But they should have went the normal route where the Fiend's coming back and Randy Orton is vomiting a whole bunch of black stuff. The Fiend comes out of Alexa Bliss's, the Fiend's essence comes out of Alexa Bliss, merged with the black goo, and then out comes Bray. Sister Abigail, Alexa Bliss is crying in the corner after what happened, and 1, 2, 3, he wins, and that would set up the new cinematic for WrestleMania. That's what should have happened. But instead, you have Alexa Bliss going over on Randy Orton, and for what?
The first female to beat Randy Orton.
For what? For what? Doesn't make sense. Okay,
because
whatever.
They didn't want to give that opportunity to Nia Jax. That's why. They were like, if a woman's going to beat Randy Orton, it's going to be Alexa Bliss.
Fucked up. Yo, for real, and Nia Jax just needs to start beating guys up, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Elevate her to the men's division.
Yeah, because she's the injurer. Honestly, women's championship aside, I give her a little bit of credit for this tag team run. A little bit. It's growing on me, but she hasn't done anything but injure people, bro.
That's because they need to hire big women.
They do.
Yo, there's so many big women in the wrestling industry, but yet they want to always pick the skinny blonde ones every single time.
I think that's why Nia Jax gets. Besides her being the Rock's family, she's a very beautiful big woman. So,
but here's the thing. I could name 20 females just as big as her in the wrestling business that you could have a division. You could have a heavyweight female division and have the lightweight division be like the Divas title, whatever. That's something that people probably would want to see. Having Nia Jax facing off against Karma, something like that. Yeah. Or
I don't see her ever coming back to WWE.
Or even Viper from NXT UK, which she's never ever gonna come. Like, so it's not because that's not that by the time Viper would ever come to Raw or anything like that, Nia Jax probably retired. Let's be honest. And it's like, there's so many big women in the wrestling industry that you could have Nia Jax fight and it'd be believable and she won't be able to hurt people. It's like, but you always want to pick the lingerie models for some reason.
That's because we need that Attitude Era producers backstage to retire. Honestly,
you mean John Laurinaitis, who they just
guys?
You mean John Laurinaitis, who they just hired back in talent relations, and mind you, the biggest thing that John Laurinaitis ever did was find the Bella twins in a lingerie mag.
Well, there goes the hope of of that, right?
They just rehired John Laurinaitis, and it's like, yo, the guy they had before it, I forgot his name, but yo, he did a pretty good job. All he did was watch the indies the whole time and pick and choose stars, and it's like, that's the type of guy I would want in my wrestling company, because he had a great eye for talent. He got all these wrestlers, even though Vince ain't doing shit with them. You got all these indie talents that are great. And it's like, he has a good eye for talent, but you fired him, and now John Laurinaitis, the person who picked the Bella, not only picked the Bella Twins out of a lingerie mag, but married their mom.
He sure did. Sure did.
And it's crazy because if you would say that story anywhere else, you would think, nah, people that he's just joking. And it's like, no, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm not saying that's why they got pushed, but it might be a low-key possibility.
And it's just crazy because the crazy thing is that John Laurinaitis is Daniel Bryan's father-in-law.
Yeah, sure is. It sure is.
Think about that. Think about that.
I mean, but I'm definitely not putting that in anything for Daniel Bryan, honestly. I feel like Daniel Bryan really did earn his spot.
Okay. All right, Bob. We're not talking about Daniel Bryan though.
Oh no. Yeah.
We're talking about the Bella Twins.
Yeah, the rest, that's shaky. It's really shaky.
There's a lot of shaky.
Not only back then, one of the twins was with John Cena, so yeah, it was a shaky, but it is what it is. We had a lot of discussion on here. Sheamus took up a lot of stuff. We had a lot of great NXT UK.
Yo, I don't care what you said. I convinced you that Sheamus would go to NXT UK.
No, you didn't.
You can watch it back. You can watch it back.
Nah,
you guys can watch it back.
I'm saying, right? I agree with what you're saying as far as why you saying it, but my stance is that realistically,
I mean,
I don't think it's a possibility.
I never said it's going to be realistic.
But that's what I say all the time. I'm like, I don't think
ideally, if you want to make a
that'd be cool. That'd be cool, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But
it's not gonna happen.
Sheamus
it will never happen. Nothing that I ever book will ever happen, even though they're just great ideas.
We predicted quite a few storylines.
Even though, straight up that Walter versus Sheamus, oh my god, that's a fucking dream match right there.
But before he fantasizes and gets us talking about Sheamus for another 15, 20 minutes.
And NXT UK.
No, we can do this all day.
Speaking of...
Focus, where can they find you?
The Bella Twins is going to come back at WrestleMania.
They sure are, because of the Hall of Fame.
I just want to put that out there before just so you can realize the fuckery, because we were talking about the Nia and the tag team titles and everything. You can find me at Kayfabe.
Yes, and they actually were talking about wanting to come back for a tag team championship.
And who's the talent relations guy now?
Focus, where can they find you?
You can find me at Kayfabe_Focus on Instagram. Join the Facebook group and all of that stuff. All the different podcasts. We're on Anchor, Apple, Dazer, Castbox. Right? We're on Castbox?
Yeah, we are on
so.
Castbox.
All right, so we're on all of that.
But the hate mail, most importantly, the hate mail goes to E.A as EDOTA on Twitter. So
official _E.A on Instagram.
And for the episodes that you see and you want to send any hate mail or any kind of spam messages, the ones that he's not on, spam them twice. With that being said, you can find me and you can find us collectively at Kayfabe Avenue on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Join the conversation. Like, share, subscribe on our YouTube. Speaking of subscribing, click that support link on Anchor, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're catching our podcast. We're streaming on all podcast streaming providers, so check us out. Everything at Kayfabe Avenue. With that being said, I've been Kayfabe AJ. That's been Kayfabe Focus and Kayfabe Avenue. This has been the Raw wrap-up and a whole lot of discussion. Austin, take us home.
Bottom line, why? Because old Stone Cold said so. Thank you very much, you son of a bitch.